It is January 24th today, and I really want to start reading Flawless. I just want to get a head start on Valentine's Day and just already be in the romance mood. The main guy in this is like a bull rider. He's a professional bull rider. I've been wanting to read this since like last summer. What I know of it starting off is that this professional bull rider did this like bad brawl fight thing in public, so now he needs publicity, like good publicity. His agent has his daughter come in to just like clean up his act and stuff. The romance ends up being between Rhett, the main character, and then his agent's daughter. This is part of a series. I think it's like you can read them as standalones, but then they're also connected. Oh, I can't wait. Let's get started. Guys, I started reading Flawless and I'm loving it. I'm on page 96. Started enemies to lovers. This famous bull rider named Rhett Eaton, he has this like whole ordeal where he says he didn't like milk and he got into like this fight and he punched this guy in his face. It's like, it's this whole thing. His agent was like, okay, he's gonna have a babysitter, and his babysitter is the agent's daughter. Her name is Summer. She's 25. Rhett is 32, so she's kind of starting off in her career. She's never done something like this before, but she is basically living in like his family farm and just like basically keeping him in line and making sure that has like a clean act leading up to the competitions that he's going to be competing in. Rhett hates this idea and he's like very against it, but he also has to get his act together because he needs his sponsors and he doesn't want to lose any more of them. But he like doesn't necessarily agree, but he like begrudgingly is like, okay, fine. It's finally at the point in the book where they're a little bit starting to become friends. Like she's like, hey, like I'm on the same team as you, and they're kind of making like a truce basically to not just to be like on the same team, and I really like it. I like how his whole family's there. It's like his dad and then his two brothers and his nephew. I'm really just excited right now and I'm enjoying it, and I'm just having a really easy time reading it. Another thing is that he was her childhood crush, or like when she was like 16 or like younger, she had like posters of him and stuff. So they're both like kind of attracted to each other, but then they were like not liking each other at first, but not really. They were just like, okay, I have to put up with this person. And then now they're starting to become friends and I'm loving it. This is kind of wanting to make me like live on a farm or something. You know, the only thing that I couldn't get by is like just the smell of poop. Like there was this scene where he was walking into the agency building. He's like, I wouldn't be surprised if there was still like cow or like bull poop on like the bottom of my shoes. And I was just like, like imagine like how he smells. Like I don't want to think about how he smells because he probably smells so bad. But then she said he smells like leather and like I don't know. I can't imagine that smells too good. But anyway, I'm just gonna not think about that and pretend that that doesn't exist. That was so cute. A lot of his fans are upset after he said the thing about him like not liking milk and thinking it's disgusting and stuff, which sounds crazy, but apparently they're like a lot of farmer fans and they like feel disrespected or something like that. But he was just in this like bull riding competition and then he did really good. He got like a really high score and then people just weren't clapping or anything for him. But then like she whistled like really loud and stuff, and it was just such a cute moment because like they're just starting to become friends, but he was like all sad and then he wasn't after she whistled, and that was just so cute. I'm having a great time. And let the one room, one bed trope commence. I knew he was gonna say that. I have like 2 or 3 more chapters left. I'm loving it. One of the things that makes this book feel kind of like stressful at times is that he's a bull rider for like his profession, so it's like kind of people get seriously injured doing that. I love that it's dual POV. I feel like I know so much more about Rhett because it's dual POV. I love Summer's her own like journey because I feel like she's figuring out what she wants to do. She's going through like these big huge life changes and it's all coming to fruition. Also, I feel like these characters are kind of, I love when characters like don't know what they're doing with their life because it's kind of like relatable. This is one of those books that makes me want to just live the character's life for a little bit. Like it honestly just sounds so nice. Sometimes I really want to live in a ranch house with like 3 attractive cowboy brothers. I feel like people don't know that about me. But yeah, really good story. I really just made myself cry. I don't know. I finished Flawless. I really liked the ending. There was like a little add-on ending too, and it was a scene with like the dad and Summer, and it was so cute. They're like joking around and stuff, and she was making like a dating profile for him. I really like how it's could be like a standalone, but then it has these other books coming after it that are like still connected in the world and they all know each other, because it feels like it's already like they're a family in a way. I'm just excited to see like not only the romantic relationship in the next book, but like the relationships between all these people. Like I just want to see it like grow more and more and like them become closer and like even better friends. I really want Summer to be like really good friends with all Rhett's family, and I want Rhett and like Willa to hit it off, and they already have, so I'm excited for that. This was super good. I gave it 4 stars. Totally worth reading. I have kind of a big update. Me plus reading vlogs plus audiobooks is a slippery slope, because I feel like I just start listening to it and then before you know it I'm like more than halfway through a book, and I haven't vlogged me reading any of it or listening to any of it. I'm on chapter 27 of Confessions of an Alleged Good Girl. I have this much left. It's been enjoyable throughout the whole thing, but I feel like, I don't know, maybe at like this mark or something I got really into it. The main girl in this is the daughter of a preacher, and then her mom's also big in the church. She just lives in a very religious household, and they're definitely not like sex positive. She has all these like thoughts in her head about sex and everything that are kind of harmful to her, and she has them because of like how she's grown up, but it's like all of the thoughts that sex makes you dirty, or like it's all that you have to give. She has this boyfriend who she's had for 2 years, and she's tried having sex with him a bunch of times, but it hasn't worked because she has this condition where she literally just cannot have sex, and it's because of like, well, like the book is like hinting towards it's because of like her thoughts of sex and the fact that she's like scared of basically like it being wrong or dirty, or just like all these like scary thoughts that are making her physically unable to have sex. There's this girl at her church who she is kind of judgmental towards. Like she has a lot of thoughts about her, she thinks that this girl Sasha thinks that she's better than everyone else, and she has all these thoughts about who this girl is. But then when her boyfriend of 2 years breaks up with her because she can't have sex, she ends up getting a lot of help and advice from Sasha, and she's like the least expected person that she thought she would get that sort of advice from. I really enjoy that aspect of the book because it's like she thought so many things about Sasha, but it was almost like she was just like projecting her own fears of what she was onto her. And it's kind of one of those things where she realized like how much she has to grow and how much, and like who she wants to be. She's taking a step back from like the way that she's been living her life and the things that she's been believing like subconsciously, and like the way that she's been living, and she's changing. Things are just really changing, and it feels like she's becoming more of who she actually wants to be. It's really refreshing, and it's done really well. She also starts hanging out with this guy Reggie, who her dad is like kind of taking under his wing, trying to help him stay out of trouble. People think that he's like this bad kid, but he's not actually this bad kid. Like he's actually a really good kid. That is where the romance comes in this book. I like how though it's not even like just a YA romance, it's also like kind of found family, coming of age. Like I just feel like it has so many things going for it. I definitely think this is one of those books too that would be like so beneficial for a lot of people in high school and stuff to read, because this is just such an important topic. I haven't read a book that delves into it quite like this one's doing. I'm about to go to sleep, so I have like my Invisalign in and stuff, but I wanted to give one last update because I did end up finishing Confessions of an Alleged Good Girl. I didn't expect to like have the reaction that I had. This book brought me to tears. Like it was so moving. I already talked a bit about what it's about, but I feel like the end it really started incorporating her family in like a different way, and I really liked seeing that. The scenes like with the mom just made me so emotional because I just wasn't even expecting it, but it makes so much sense like how it came around in the end. It was just really beautiful, and like those were like happy tears. Like that was just so heartwarming. I absolutely love this, and it makes me want to read the other book that I've heard a lot of from this author, Excuse Me While I Ugly Cry. That is the one that I want to read next. I think I'm gonna give it like a 4 stars. Actually, I forgot to add, I feel like I haven't really talked about the romance. I haven't talked about the romance in this book enough because it was such a cute romance, and I feel like it was such an important romance. Like everything about this book feels so special and like important. She went with being with someone who's like kind of controlling, and then like when she started to realize, like find herself again, because she kind of got lost in this dude who's like literally broke up with her because she couldn't have sex with him. Then the love interest Reggie came in. It's like he showed her what she deserved as she was like figuring out on her own at the same time, and it was so amazing and it was so good and I love them. Time for a reading update. I didn't expect this to happen, but I started out on a limb. I'm already on chapter 14. I started listening to the audiobook while I was cleaning, and then I didn't realize how far I was getting into it, but I do plan on also reading the physical copy as well, so I probably will do that tomorrow. So far, this is turning into one of my favorite romance books I've ever read, which is saying a lot. I've read a lot of romance books, and there's only like certain ones that really stand out to me as like my favorites. This is just so good so far, and one thing I realized I love, like one thing that makes my favorite romance books, the guy main characters are always like so thoughtful, so considerate, so kind. There's just a certain vulnerability and like openness and kindness that they have that really gets me, and this guy in this book really definitely has that. I love their banter. They have great banter. I've laughed like a lot throughout their conversations. I feel like I laugh every single time they have a conversation. This is not a spoiler. It happens like at the beginning of the book, but it's a one-night stand with surprise pregnancy. I've never really read a book like this. I didn't know how I was gonna feel about it, but I really love it. It was such a cute meet cute, like the way that they talk, like they just flow so effortlessly and they're so fun to read about. I'm just loving the story so much. It feels like just like a hug, like it just feels like everything good just being wrapped up in a blanket, but everything good, but then it also being like super swoony. I still have a bit of a way to go through this book, so let's see how the rest of it feels. It's just so promising. I want to get every single other book by this author because I love it that much so far. This specific brand of romance, like this specific feeling of when I'm reading it, I feel like I just feel it so rarely, like that much, like loving it in this way, you know? It's hard to explain, but it doesn't come around that often. I do not want to go to work right now. I finished Out on the Limb and I genuinely enjoyed this book so much. The love interest in this, Beau, is like the sweetest person, and so is Win. It's funny, it's happy, but it's also a book that's gonna like tug at the heartstrings. It was just kind of perfect in the way that it gave me so much joy, but it was also like I felt like I was feeling so many different emotions, like really experiencing the story. Update. I'm flying through Dear Amelia. There's not a lot left, and I'm thinking it's just gonna lead up to like a happy ending. It's a lot different than a lot of the romance books that I read. The book starts off and they're already in love because they grew up together and they're like best friends growing up, and they've like known each other and have been best friends this entire time. Like there wasn't any gap, or like in a lot of second chance romances they're together and then they don't see each other for years and then they get together again. And this one, they like never got together in the first place. They've just been best friends this entire time. So that's like one of the ways in which it was kind of different. But then the other thing is too, there isn't really like a big conflict that happens. Like this is basically just like a lot of happy moments and like joy-filled moments where the characters are like nervous and they're doing things that they usually don't do, but it's not like conflicts. It's like a happy, comforting, just like a fun little read. I feel like when I read like a lot of love stories, I'm always like waiting for the other shoe to drop eventually. Like if they do get together, I'm like, okay, what's gonna go wrong? And it is like a bit refreshing that nothing has gone wrong in this. There's still time, but I really don't think that's gonna happen. And there's been opportunities for something to happen, but it just hasn't. It's like an interesting feeling after getting so used to how they usually are. But usually when I go to read a romance book, I want to like be moved and like feeling things. And this one, it's like I'm feeling like happy about it and stuff, but I'm not feeling like, I'm not really connected to the characters and feeling like so much. It is a connected series where like you could read them as standalones, I think. It's one of those things where there's like brothers and there's like different love stories for them and stuff. I just got done filming another video, so there's like a ring light set up right now, but I wanted to give my final thoughts on Dear Amelia because I did just finish it. This was just like short and sweet. I feel like I kind of said a lot about it earlier that just has like stayed true to what it is in the end. Like there were no big conflicts. There was character development. There's like an already formed found family in it too that's really cute, and they're gonna expand on it because I think the other books is just like of more people from this found family or this like friendship. It felt like the little ending to a love story that almost had a little bit of like an epilogue feel to it, even though they like weren't together at the beginning of it. It still like had that feeling to where it was just like summing up a happy ending. For what it is, just being like a super short and sweet story, I think I would give it like 3 stars. It just feels like it was too short to like really leave an impact. I did really like the friends to lovers storyline. One of the things I love about that trope is like the yearning, you know, and I feel like there wasn't enough yearning in this. Like there definitely was some, but I just feel like I need like even more of this much of just like yearning, you know what I mean? I don't regret reading it though. I liked it, I enjoyed it. That concludes this romance reading vlog. Make sure to like this video if you liked it and subscribe to me if you want to see more of my videos. I will put all of the links to my social media in the description. Also, happy Valentine's Day if I end up uploading this on Valentine's Day. I hope you're having an amazing Valentine's Day. I will see you in the next one.